Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gat, your host. Of your contacted for a natal chart, a birth natal chart analysis. This is what we're going to do now. You're looking at the natal chart right before you. Now, this is a new person, so they always get the free report, which really explains everything about astrology, everything about the houses, anything about Kundalini, chakras is in there, tarot cards is in there. A lot of stuff about twin flames, twin souls, and they also gives videos because a lot of people are they really don't understand what twin flame, twin souls is. So those videos, the video help, especially the one that says the 8 stages of twin flame, twin souls. And you can look at that. It's right on YouTube. You can type that right in your YouTube search engine, even right now, and watch that video. It gives a lot of good information. So how we do this, we always encourage people to take notes. Reason being because a lot of people have questions. It's often a lot of information with natal charts. And what happens is so much information that a person might not hear everything. And they'll think, oh, he didn't cover that. But usually I did cover it. It's just that maybe you weren't listening. And I know because when you get hit with a lot of information, uh, you space out, you miss it. So it's always good to take notes as well because my job is to thoroughly explain it, and then you have the information, then you'll have the video, and then you can rewind, take your time however you want to look at it. Now, if you have any further questions from that, you can feel free to place in the order if you like. That's totally up to you. But from this reading, you'll have all the information you have that is on your natal chart pertinent. And it's always good. That's why I write the signs down, because what happens with some people, a lot of stuff is being said right in front of you. Like I had a woman I was given a lot of information about a twin flame, but she was older. She wasn't really into it. But everything I was describing was a member of her family. But the sign was correct. Everything was correct coming off the chart. So that's why I say never be so technical that you miss the point. Uh, I hear more and more astrologers say, or card readers also say what I've always said. Like you may be doing your chart, it may be about you, but if it's about your twin flame, it might be somebody around you at that time. It could be a brother, sister, anybody that's around you, coworker. So it's important to listen to the signs. That's why I said a lot of people make a mistake at almost as soon as they get the natal chart, they're already contacting to talk some more. There's no way you listen to if that's like some of these charts are three or more hours, so there's no way you listen to all that information that quick, and that's why you gotta learn how to slow down, because this is the universe, not me talking. It's the universe. You gotta learn how to slow down and be patient, and that's in relationships. That's dealing with other people. It's just the way it is. Rome wasn't built in a day, so you have to learn how to take that information in. And the best way to do is listen, take notes. You have this. Therefore, if you ever get any other readings, like you say you get a card reading, they're gonna be, oh, you say something about a Gemini. They'll say something about another sign. You'll know because it's right on your natal chart. You'll know where to go. You'll know what they're kind of talking to or who they're kind of talking about based on their astrological sign. Because as above, so below. There's nothing moving on this planet that is not influenced by astrology. Above, no matter how powerful people think they are or what they have you believing, everything on this planet, even insects, everything is moving by what goes above us. Like the ancients knew that, our ancestors knew that as above, so below. So you definitely want your natal chart. You definitely want astrology, but then you have to slow down and listen so you can learn from it. And believe me, it's not. I know I hear on internet, on YouTube, everybody wants to chat, everybody wants to have a comment, but you really, if you don't have experience, you really don't have a comment. Otherwise, you're just talking, and that's how people make the biggest mistakes in the world, listening to somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. And that's why I'm totally against bubblegum astrology. So we're gonna go in now. We start off first house. You have your AC, that's your ascendant. So when the sun was going over the horizon when this person was born, the ascendant was in Libra. This is your rising sign. Your East Point EP is where the sun was going over the ecliptic when you were born, and that's in Libra. So this is your first house because the AC and EP are both there. And that's Libra. Now, before we describe a Libra, we have to describe Pluto in Libra. Now, the first house is ruled by the zodiac sign Aries. Aries can be somewhat aggressive, quite focused. Now, this person, because they're a Libra, they like to do things in partnerships or business partner or relationship partner, having some type of friend with them. And they also care about fairness, social issues, things of that nature. Now, before I go deeper, we want to do Pluto and Libra. Because Pluto rules Scorpio, there's going to be a connection between the first house and the eighth house. Because Scorpio rules the eighth house and Pluto rules Scorpio. And Mars used to rule Scorpio, but now Mars rules Aries. So you already got a connection there as well. And that's why we want to take our time to make sure we get the correct analysis of these connections I just spoke on. So let's do Pluto in Libra. All right. All right. Let me see. All right. Now we'll start to go in again. We're going to take our time. Just give me a moment. Just bear with me. The reason why it's taking so long, this seems to be very significant, Pluto and Libra. So that's why this isn't something I can just jet right into. You have to wait and put it up a certain way to do so, which I'm doing, and then we'll be able to move forward. And this is going to have a significant effect on the rest of your chart. And this is why I take my time Not always, but some charts right at the beginning, they kind of are setting the foundation, but that's not always the case. But I can kind of tell it's going to be the case with this chart. Because I know that it's just that they're writing so much about it. You know, it's almost unbelievable. But that's when you know it's something significant. When so many people are taking so much time to write this much information about Pluto and Libra. I'll read this part kind of quick. Those born in the generation having Pluto and Libra experience the call to participate in world transformation by introducing new forms of cooperation between nations. They are also given the challenge of transforming traditional ideas of partnership relationships on planet Earth. Because Pluto is going to be power, Pluto is going to be transformation, but Pluto is so much more than that as well. All right, here we go. We are finally ready to begin this. Pluto was in Libra for everyone on Earth from October 1971 to November 1983, and again in May through 1984 as well. The first time since 1735, souls born during this 13-year period have been learning how to relate to others as equals. By listening to how reality exists for another person, one becomes able to give that individual what he or she truly needs. And by having a wide 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 variety of relationships with many value systems, emotional and cultural patterns, and spiritual beliefs, one can grow an understanding of themselves by comparison and contrast. You will find that change and inner growth often come through intense partnerships. That's the key word here, intense partnerships with both friends and lovers, and a need to examine your unconscious motives and aspects of relating. So Pluto can deal with things that are hidden because it's the rules the eighth house, and that is things that are hidden. Can be subconscious mind, things that are hidden. But somehow through powerful relating to others, and even possibly powerful getting involved with social events or events where you're looking for fair treatment, it's going to cause transformation, inner transformation. But to me, it also looks like inner things going on that are going to be working out around you, but other people as well, because this is your public house, how the public sees you. So in that house, things that are inside of you will be coming out. And again, when you have Libra there, that can also be law or legal matters or court matters or social matters as well. So you may even have new and potentially revolutionary ideas about law and justice. So because Pluto's there, this is going to be all about some type of working with others or another person, but it is going to be some type of powerful transformation. Could be positive, might not be. It's definitely going to be intense, especially it's in the first house with Aries and Pluto, both very powerful. And it's also going to have a bearing on wherever Scorpio is in your chart, and also in the eighth house, which is ruled by Scorpio because Pluto rules Scorpio. So Pluto was in Libra between the years of 1971 and 1984. After almost a century of war, depression, crime, and more war, this period of Pluto being in Libra, 13-year period, 1971 to 1985, 1984, saw a return to prosperity. This is the time when the natural spirit was lifted, peace was regained, and the people born under this time grew up in a much calmer, better adjusted culture. The people who lived during this time could focus on things besides practical daily survival, and it became a significant time for creative and artistic spirits to bloom. Libra, the scales, are the symbol of balance, and this was a period in which political powers strove to find balance and common ground. Everyone has seemingly gotten a bit tired of being constantly at war. However, remember that the balance that was set of scales finds remember that the balance that a set of scales finds is always going to be uneasy and quickly lost if even a hair is added to one side or the other. So this is the Generation X. They'll be this person will be highly socially conscious because that's what Libra does. Social issues, social concerns. Obsessed with romantic relationships, and I'll say that too. But I will also say, they will want somebody around them, or they always want some type of partnership or some type of quote alignment unquote with someone or some things. And now I can kind of say it, but Libra is somewhat of an idealistic, because they'll see like a perfect They'll want a perfect relationship, but nobody is perfect. And what happens sometimes when Libra starts to see reality, like human shortcomings, Libra sometimes tends to withdraw, and this could be unhealthy in the sense that they may withdraw from the person they're in a relationship with, and they may start showing more and more attention to somebody else, like somebody they work with. But they may never talk. They may never tell a person they're in a relationship that. So of course it'll get found out sooner or later or whatever, and it's not good for a relationship. Also, when they feel they're right, you might want to disagree, and you might think you're going to agree to disagree, but sometimes Libra will keep trying to bring it back up and bring it back into the conversation, and it could get annoying. It could be like somebody nagging you. So you want to be real careful about that. So they say that Pluto and Libra might become obsessed with romantic relationships, and they may make conscious efforts to cut themselves off from previous generations, just as the hippies and hipsters did. But Generation X had technology on their side and cut themselves off in a far more extreme way than the hippies had done before them. So Pluto and Libra are people who are going to be more focused on their interpersonal relationships than any generation that came before them. They tend to be highly sociable and take any relationship they have pretty much very seriously. This was the first generation that came to use new technology such as computers. So this helped them, these Libras who are naturally sociable, to become more sociable, more connected. They were connected all around the world by interest. Now they say that Libra women, uh, women with Pluto and Libra, were the first women in masses to decide that they wanted to seek personal happiness outside of romantic relationships. And yet at the same time, this became a generation notorious for their obsessions with relationships. And that was one of the strangest things I ever learned about a Libra. Because whenever I thought Libra, I always thought, relationship balance and all that stuff. But not always. Like, Libras are not always like that. So these people tend to, the Pluto and Libra tends to crave independence, but then they will still put a lot of interest and enthusiasm into their relationship. So again, Pluto and Libra can have trouble with how much time they give to other people and how much time they give personally to themselves. So they said this is going to determine whether they're an introvert or extrovert. And again, that's something we'll learn as we go on with the chart. So a Pluto Libra woman must learn to develop an identity for themselves outside of their interactions. See, Pluto is real powerful in transforming, but remember, just like Pluto rules Scorpio, but that could be internal. You always have to remember that. Even though this is the public house, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with this person. And those people they relate to in this Libra type relationship, or these things, is still going to be helping to transform them internally. So this person has got to learn how to value themselves, because all this stuff we're looking at, Pluto and Libra, then it's in your first house. It's easy to want other people to determine your wealth and your self-assessment, but you should always have that yourself. You should always have that confidence in things yourself and not wait on somebody else to validate you. Pluto and Libra people assume important positions of power in society. Anybody that has Pluto in Libra is over the age of 30. Pluto in Libra power is deeply interpersonal. So Pluto and Libra people can be obsessed with what happens when you join your power with someone or something else. Can you be equally powerful, or will the whole thing fall apart? They can be obsessed with things like this, and that can profoundly affect their relationships. So Pluto is very different from Libra. Pluto is extreme, somewhat quite all or nothing. So they said Pluto and Libra goes through extremes to try to find balance. So that's funny, because that's like an oxymoron. Either you're balanced or you're extreme. So sometimes in relationships, because of these reasons, becomes highly unbalanced, especially in the exchange of power. So it's a battle struggle, and then it can actually get ugly, because Pluto and Libra, there's going to be a it's going to be a battle, power struggle and a strong desire. Well, that's not fair. And again, that's when things can start to get ugly. They suggest just about every Pluto and Libra person is obsessed with their relationship status. A person with Pluto and Libra can have a fixation with commitment. They either compulsively seek out relationships or they compulsively avoid it. And it can be control and manipulation issues. And this is what cracks me up because a lot of times, what's called control today or manipulation, it's not really control and manipulation. Like you might somebody might be interested in you and they might have a really loose lifestyle, you know. So all you're trying to figure out is like, well, like what do you mean by that, or how loose are you? Because you may not want to have anything to do with that, and the person will accuse you of being, well, that's none of your business. My life is my life, and you don't have a right. You don't tell me. But yeah, but you're trying to bring that stuff into my life, you know. So it's kind of crazy. So you got to be careful when people say you're trying to control my life or manipulate. No, I have a right to know what's coming my way. And if you can't share that with me, then I personally won't be interested because I don't want no big surprises I'm not gonna be ready for. So that's not control and manipulation, but some people would say that it is. So they say Pluto and Libra seeks control and manipulation. And again, whenever you're dealing with Pluto, you're dealing with things like death and resurrection, rebirth. Now that could be literal or metaphorical or symbolic, but you are dealing with that when you're dealing with Pluto. And that could be breakup and makeups in relationships. Could be a lot of relationship shakeups because of Pluto. So you got to really know that because that could even be depression. And again, if you know that Pluto's in Libra, that'll help you do something about it because otherwise you'll start to go with just your feelings. But of course, you're going to feel that way because you have Pluto in Libra, and it can take you into a darkness or a depression or a woe is me type feeling. These are the reasons why I don't want to rush this. This is why I said people get upset, but I do what I do for a reason. First off, like I said, we have to learn patience. That's the one thing nobody wants to learn. But that's the main reason why we have relationship problems and things like that, because we have no patience. So we have to learn patience. And then when you do your chart, you have to make sure you're really listening to the information because it's really giving you great information that if we start to apply it, a lot of stuff in our lives will become better at. We'll overcome a lot of things. Some Pluto and Libra people have deep scars from being a child of divorced parents. They're almost implying that Pluto and Libra people may have to seek out like professional counseling. So now they're saying that some Libra people can be charming, have good manners, and they can have the ability to make you happy, but other people may feel like this is suffocating. You see my point? So this goes back to what I said. It's like, how can you say that's wrong? Oh, I'm charming, I have manners, and I want to make you happy. Oh, well, you're suffocating me. So that's why I said, I'm just an honest person. It's only so much of anything. That's why I've learned maturity. That's all I can tell people, because I'm not with all the BS. Like, I'm not gonna have somebody tell me I'm too controlling just because I asked a question. Because I'm not controlling. I just asked a question. I didn't tell you it had to be done my way. I didn't tell you I have to know this or else. I didn't say. I just said I'd like to know this. Like, what are you doing? You said you okay. You got a boyfriend. You got a girlfriend. What's going on here? Like, I have a right to know that much. But no, I don't have a right to know anything else. But I do have a right to know that much. Now that's not controlling. But somebody say, "Oh, that's controlling. It's my life." No, it's not your life, and you're bringing all that my way. You're trying to bring my life into something that I'm not into. Simple as that. That's not controlling. So you got to know when to not allow people to play mind games. And I feel like this: if you're trying to be well mannered, charming, and make somebody happy, and they're talking about you're suffocating me, you should find somebody that appreciates you, because that's not suffocating. Don't let people play mind games on you. That's a big thing on this planet. Because how are you gonna have self worth if you let somebody else lie on you and you buy into it? Because what I'm saying with Pluto and Libra, it kind of implies is the kind of stuff you're gonna be going through. So many of these people will do nice things for you and still somehow make you feel guilty or uncomfortable. It's because of the manipulation behind it. So you have to be careful of manipulation. And they say because Pluto energy can be very manipulative. Well, I know Pluto and Scorpio, they're all about power struggles and all kind of things, but we haven't got to Scorpio yet, because I'm not really gonna go in till I get to Scorpio or the eighth house. But Pluto rules that, so it's all gonna be kind of similar energy. And whenever you're dealing with Pluto or Scorpio, you can also be dealing with internal stuff, a lot of secrets. That's why I'm saying. And again, you really have to ask yourself, are you ready for that? See, I do a lot of reading. I have another channel where I do a lot of readings on it. And one of the people that I'm not dealing with yet, but they are around me, and they deal with a lot of secrets and a lot of mind games and a lot of playing, and they want to sleep around with everybody. Well, whatever. I won't go that deep about it, but they are sleeping around enough. I'll put it that way. And when I said anybody, it's because they go both ways. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to deal with all that energy? Do you really? Why would I want to bring that energy into my life? It's just simple questions. And you're not wrong for feeling that way. If you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to deal with it. That doesn't make you a bad person. You just don't want to deal with it. It might be a lot of stuff about me she don't want to deal with. They say these people can Pluto and Libra people can be very dramatic when they're going to break up or something. They can be pushed over the edge. That's why I said when you're dealing with Pluto or Scorpio, you're dealing with very powerful energy. So if you know that, you have to do something about it. Because a lot of people say, well, that's just the way I am. But, you got to be very careful. Like, you stalk somebody, that's not cool. or you damage somebody's personal belongings. That's not cool. Some people can put up with that. Some people can argue and break stuff and still be together. Some people can't. That's why I said you really have to find these things out before, you know, you just have to be careful, because one thing can lead to another. Somebody might be just as crazy as you are, or crazier. And when I say you, I mean anybody. And you might do something like, I'm a Pluto Libra, and break something, and then that person really goes crazy on you, because they're more crazy than. So you got to know this stuff, because this is going to be all watery. This is water and air. Pluto rules Scorpio, therefore it's going to be watery because Pluto rules Scorpio. And then you got air because of Libra, and then you got a fire sign because Aries rules that house. So Pluto and Libra people really need to face their demons when it comes to their relationships. And this can occur in any relationship. Doesn't have to be a love relationship. Any relationship. So Pluto Libra people need Libra balance. They have to realize no one gives them their power, therefore no one can take it away. But also they can't take away anyone else's power. So Pluto people of this generation, the Pluto Libra people, really heal their issues with control. Well, they heal those issues, those control issues, when they realize what I just read. So they have to be powerful within themselves. They can't let their feelings of power depend on somebody else. So they said, but these people can be very magnetic. Very people are attracted to them. These Pluto and Libra type people. Their charm can be overwhelming, and they can put a spell on you because they have a mysterious way of appearing to be all lovely and light, but there's a lot going on underneath. This is what the writer said. But they like to explore you because, like I said, Scorpio is very curious. Scorpio want to know everything about you, but Scorpio don't want to tell you nothing. So but they will if they once they get to trust you, they'll open up more. But they're very secretive, and Pluto rules Scorpio. So if you're the type of person that wants somebody to ask you a whole lot of questions about your life, get a Scorpio or a Pluto. And I guess a Pluto Libra, because they'll actually sit there and ask you all the questions about, oh, why did you do this and why did you do that? Whereas a lot of people be like, man, I ain't got no time to hear your whole life story. And anything with Pluto or Scorpio, and probably Libra too, the sex is always going to be pretty much great or explosive or really out there, very powerful. And also, like when you get to the eighth house, there's a lot of down and dirty stuff that goes on. So during the Pluto and Libra era, they were all about free love, swingers, sexual liberation. Pluto and Libra people get down to the nitty gritty in relationships, and sex is an undeniable part of that. And also, they are healers. Anything with Scorpio or Pluto is healing energy, but Libra likes to heal too. And as I said, Pluto and Scorpio are about transformation. But they say that a Pluto Libra person still has to heal themselves first because they'll try to heal somebody else, and that can end up hurting themselves, especially if the other person doesn't appreciate it. So they have to really have confidence in themselves first before they can go around trying to heal other people or heal the world. All right, now I have something else I just want to look at. So they keep using the word, this article keeps using the word evolution because it's dealing with Pluto, but we already dealt with it. We just said transformation. So they're talking about Pluto connecting it to your, soul or subconscious mind, which we kind of said that. This person is just taking a more scientifical, astrological, scientifical approach of what I already said. All right. So this guy's just using a lot of different words and all that, but he's basically saying the same stuff we already talked about. All right. Give me one moment. All right. So that is your first house. So now your second house, again, this is a highly creative, your second house, highly creative, a very scientific person because of Scorpio and Uranus. But anything could happen when you have Scorpio and Uranus. And see, your second house is ruled by Taurus, but it's supposed to be your money, your possessions, your value system. But in your second house, you have Scorpio, who rules your eighth house. Your eighth house is all about other people's money, other people's resources, shared resources, debt, owing people money, IRS, taxes. It's all about supernatural stuff, creepy, crawlies, ghosts, sex, all kind of sex, all kind of down and dirty sex, freaky sex, transformation, death and rebirth, soul journeys, twin flame, twin souls, hidden knowledge, secret knowledge, different sciences, alternative sciences, astrology, astronomy, tarot cards, secrets, mysteries, powerful transformation. But you have to be careful because that can also mean with Libra and Scorpio in the second house, because that's other people's money, that can mean you might find yourself in trouble because you've done something with other people's money that maybe they didn't give you authorization, or maybe you just shouldn't did it. So you have to be very careful with that. And remember, like I said, whenever I'm doing your chart, it could be you or the significant other. So that's basically your Second house. And see, whenever you see that can even be sexual stuff involved with money. It could be. Not necessarily, but it could be. And it can also be music agents or entertainment agents. It could be investigations, uh, struggle for power, fighting over wills. Because Scorpio and the eighth house is very intense. And it definitely is power struggles. Like I said, it could be shared resources. Now, even you see Mars in the third house, and this is true north node. Now, this person is highly psychic and highly telepathic. Whenever you see Neptune or Sagittarius together, that's the sun, and that rules Leo. Because Leo can also be telepathic. But these people are also connected to not just the planet Earth, but they're connected to the universe around them. That's why when you see somebody bringing you movies like Star Wars and stuff like that, they may have a placement like this, like with Scorpio and Sagittarius. So this person can be like a high teacher. Uh, they're into publishing, very articulate person, great communicator. That's their true north node. So this is what they should be doing in this life. Sagittarius rules your ninth house, and again, it's higher law. And again, when you see like Sagittarius in the third house, that's the house of communications, ruled by Gemini. This could be a foreigner. They could be a foreigner as far as knowing more than one language, but they can also be connected to somebody else that's a foreigner, because that Sagittarius is foreign lands, long distance. But it rules your ninth house of higher self. And it's a true north node. Neptune is known as the deceiver. Planet Neptune is known as the deceiver. So in the dreamer. So again, this is a person who's very, very concerned. See, when you put Sagittarius in the third house, it brings a little maturity to it. Because the third house is about short travel, younger children. Whereas the ninth house is more about adults. But your ninth house is in your third house because of Sagittarius. So you're going to have a little bit more maturity there. But the third house is usually about short distance travel, but it's a very creative house. But it's going to be a very creative person anyway. And that's their true north node. Now, when you go to you know it's their true north node by that little horseshoe looking. And I don't see an aura, because usually when you don't see an aura, that means there was some type of dysfunction there. But sometimes it could even be the astrologer forgot to put the aura there, or it really is something dysfunctional there. You see Mars, because Mars definitely could be combative or dysfunctional. And this is siblings, brothers and sisters, the environment around you. It could be anything, could even be family, but any environment around you. And see, Neptune is a deceiver sometimes, like I said. And this is the type of person that might really get involved one way or another, especially verbally or using the internet or something. But they're going to be getting involved with some type of foreign stuff, because based on idealism. Like, this is the type of person you would definitely see maybe carrying some type of flag or some showing her support. But it's not just she's going verbally, because this is your communication house, ruled by Gemini. Gemini rules Mercury. Both of this is communications, and it's a true north node. And the only thing, because that aura is not there next to your true north node, that horseshoe looking thing, it could be something dysfunctional. And when you see Mars, so you have to be careful not to take your idealism, because that's, Sagittarius represents ideas and idealism. So does Neptune. You have to be careful not to take your idealism and support violence. But this is a very passionate person. And the third house also is community, the community around you as well, or the brotherhood. Now, her fourth house is her. Well, let's go to her south node. Your south node is usually your past life, but if you notice, you actually have two houses opposite. You have two houses opposite your third house, which is your true north node. So where that moon is in Gemini, but also where Taurus is, which are vertex. But both those areas represent primarily your past life. Only because of the way the chart is. Because both of those houses are opposite your Sagittarius or your third house. And you have a lot of 16 degrees and a lot of 10 degrees on your chart. Some 9 degrees, some 19 degrees. 12 degrees. So you have a lot of symmetric connections with these numbers, and what they call synchronicity. So we'll talk more about your south node or past life connection when we get to those houses. Now, your fourth house, whenever Capricorn's there, this is some type of disciplinarian, but it could also be some type of home business. But because Vesta is there, Vesta can be a priestess, but she could also represent fire or energy or isolation. Now, wherever you see Vesta at on your natal chart, this is where you need to slow down, because this is where you could burn out at. Too much energy. You have to know how to take breaks. Now, otherwise you burn out. Now, the fourth house is ruled by Cancer. And represents teenage to adult education, land and property or real estate, family and ancestors, a person's heart or health or vehicles and travel. But normally Cancer's in the fourth house, but yours is opposite. You have Capricorn, the opposite of Cancer, in your fourth house. And normally you might see the moon with Cancer in the fourth house, but yours is the sun with Capricorn. So once again, even like I said, it's one of those, when you see something like this, because this is an education house, because of the fourth house, but it's showing you some type of Capricorn. Definitely, they worry a lot about what others think about them with Capricorn, because that's career and reputation. But Capricorn can either be somebody that's serious minded, or it could be some type of what you call family business or home business. But either way, Mercury is still there to show you somebody that's outspoken, and Venus is there too. And Venus is 17 degrees with Capricorn, so that could be some type of karma. And remember, Capricorn could be karma, but it could also be a career. But if it was career, this is a career coming out of the family, some type of connection. And then you got Venus there as well. So there's some type of connection there with seriousness with Capricorn, but still Venus is there with love, and Venus can bring love and fun, diplomacy, forgiveness. culture, fashion. And then Mercury's there too, meaning this person is very creative and a great spokesperson because and very intelligent. And then this is that person's sun sign, Capricorn. Next house is the fifth house, which is ruled by Leo. But that's all about having fun, being childlike. Very creative house, another very creative house. But it's going to be a very creative person. Also taking risks. But whenever you have Aquarius in the fifth house, this is a person that has alternative ways of dating. They don't go by the conventional way of dating. And then when you see Lilith there, especially her Lilith, which is Aura retrograde, usually that's a form of repression. And this is a person who kind of is going to take on the world. Like they're gonna want to take on the world. Like, you know, I'll date who I want to. I don't care if you don't like it. And they don't mind. Some Liliths do, but usually Lilith retrograde with Aquarius in the fifth house is somebody that doesn't mind doing something right in front of you out in public, because they're kind of like making a statement. Now, Pallas helps a person see patterns, but Pallas also helps with social issues, because you got to remember, Aquarius deals with social issues, but so does Pallas, especially when Pallas is retrograde, because Pallas wants to help out social issues. House 6 is ruled by Virgo. It's all about home, service, health, healing, daily activities, subordinates or co-workers, small children, small animals. And in your sixth house is Pisces. And Pisces is all about inspiration and service. And it could be spiritual as well. And this is your home sector. So as you can see, so it's sort of like a spiritual home environment. And that is also blessed by Jupiter, because Jupiter is about finances and good fortune and expansion. That other asteroid that looks like a hook, that's Ceres. This is about nurturing. And then your Juno, that little asterisk at 20 degrees. This means you might find yourself in a serious relationship with somebody that either has Pisces, Virgo, or possibly even Sagittarius energy, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And again, you see Sagittarius there in your third house, and that's your true north node. So right now, you're looking at your twin flame, because Juno represents that twin flame, serious relationship, and your true north node can often represent your twin flame, your other half. And the reason why I'm saying that is Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So your sixth house and your third house are primarily speaking about this partner, your other half, your twin soul. Same soul, different body, same as your twin flame. Now, when you get to the seventh house, see, this is where things go wrong. Because in the seventh house, you got Aries. Now, Aries' motto is I am. See, Aries should be in your first house, and your Libra should be in your seventh house. Because Aries in the seventh house is going to cause problems, because Aries doesn't want we. Aries doesn't want to, hey, let's work this out. Let's compromise. Aries can be a little aggressive. But you can also see that you have some type of past pain in this house because of Chiron. Chiron is showing that you have something past happened in this life or a previous life that hasn't healed yet. Now we're starting to get to your past life section. I'm saying both house 8 and 9. Now that's Taurus in the 8th house. Now this can be very passionate, because Taurus can be very passionate, very sensual, very magnetic. It's going to be a very sexual look, a very sexy, very magnetic person because of Taurus. And Scorpio energy, because Scorpio rules that 8th house. But Taurus also has to be careful, because sometimes Taurus puts too much value on people when you have to treat people like people, not like valuables. Also, Taurus can kind of like be kind of pushy in a sense. They may be right or they may think they're right, and they don't really give you the option to agree to disagree. Like they'll really feel like, well, I'm trying to show you the best way, and they'll kind of try to make you do it. And a lot of people don't appreciate that, because they still want to make their decision no matter how much how much you talk to them, and how much studying you did, or how much you know. They still want to come to their own conclusions. So Taurus has to be careful of that. So highly sensual sexual house with Taurus. Also on your free report, I list everything that's in your 8th house. I do that for all your houses, all 12. But you really need to get very familiar with your 8th house, because you have Pluto and Scorpio in significant places. Now this is a good fortune in the 8th house is somebody that's going to be very, sexual, as I was saying, but very powerful. But also, see, Taurus is mindful of possessions, finances, and the value system. So your 2nd house is in your 8th house, and your 8th house is in your 2nd house. But that's why you have to be careful. Your 2nd house is supposed to be about other people's money, and for some reason you have your money in your 2nd house, and there goes your vertex. Now your vertex cross represents either your soulmate, who could just be a person in your soul tribe, your twin soul, which is a same soul, different body, which is your twin flame. The vertex cross can also represent a significant event or a significant breakup or coming together. But you just want to be careful in your 8th house, because your money should be your money. Your money shouldn't be in the other people's money or shared resources house, because then you got to make sure that you're not getting ripped off. And again, when you go to your Taurus rules your 2nd house. When you go to your 2nd house, you see Scorpio ruled by Pluto, and Pluto's right there with Libra. So even this person is either your soulmate or your twin soul. But Uranus is right there. So Uranus rules Aries. Uranus rules Aquarius. And that goes right back to what I was saying about who's ever in your 5th house. It could be the same energy or a different person. Because a lot of times you have a twin soul and a soulmate. But it's still connected. Whoever it is still connected to your past life. And maybe in a past life you were you allowed somebody to manipulate you. Because remember, we were warning you about manipulation. That's the 8th house. And you had somebody actually using your money. So now in this life, you have other people's money in your 1st house, or 2nd house rather, your money house. But you have to be careful, because it could become legal. 9th house is Gemini, which is your moon sign. And we were just in a full Gemini moon. And that might be one of the reasons why you contacted me. We just left a Gemini moon. Very powerful moon. So that could be coupled, because Gemini is the twins. But it's still going to be communications. Like Gemini is a lot like Sagittarius. It's just that Sagittarius is more mature and more long term and more long distance. But it's still going to be publishing. Like you may go foreign and you may do something for younger children, because Gemini represents younger children. But it's still going to be education, still going to be publishing, still going to be travel. Sometimes Gemini in the 9th house could be somebody who went long distance, but now that they went long distance, now they travel locally where they went. Now, moon sign is always feminine. the internal you, things that are hidden, emotions. Your sun sign is more masculine, the ego, the external you. So this person is really gonna love to communicate. So like I said, that could be a plus because somebody might say, "Oh, I want somebody in a relationship that I could talk to." So if she uses those communication qualities in a relationship, it might go well if she has somebody that loves to communicate. But both the third house and the ninth house are implying she likes to use that education, that communication, primarily for publishing and education. But then you do see her, you see Mercury conjunct Venus. So again, she may actually like to communicate in relationships as well. Because I know she sent me emails. She wrote me like this email. But I never read your emails or nothing until after I do the chart. Because otherwise it's unfair to you. Because somebody could just read your email and then they could just kind of repeat stuff they read while they do your chart. That's not fair. They should be able to read your chart, and it should be stuff you hear that you know is the truth. So I don't have to read any papers. It's going to come off the chart that I read. That's how you know you're dealing with a real astrologer or whatever, who's ever gifted. They can actually use a chart, whatever they're using. It might be cards, whatever they're using, but they should be able to do it from their source, not from your paperwork. That's like a cheat sheet. And then you see 1616 and this is your business house, your career, ruled by Capricorn. And then you have 6-9, which rules the Cancer, which rules the fourth house. So whatever I said about your fourth house is in your 10th house. And your 10th house is in your fourth house. So it could be some type of family business. It might be some type of educational family business. Because I already told you what's in the fourth house. So I won't repeat it again. But now that's your karma. Because see how Saturn is retrograde. And a lot of times your retrogrades deal with past life. But they also deal with karma. Especially when it's Saturn. So you have some type of karma, a karmic debt, or a karmic obligation in your 10th house and in your 4th house. And they both involve family as well. Now, your medium coeli, that's also part of your true north node or your life purpose. So we still have to go back to your true north node, which is in your 2nd house. And again, like I said, family. And remember, your Sagittarius can also be in-laws. In-laws. And for all we know, she may have a Gemini or a child experience with someone in that foreign family or that in-law capacity. Because Gemini can be like a child. It just depends. It could be a person with the Gemini sign. It could also be a child. So let's do it. Let's do the Sat, because that's the only planet. That's the only planet she has that's retrograde. And again, because her true north node doesn't have the aura, what we're talking about right now could be the reasons for, could be some type of family situation, in-law situation. Because that lack of aura with the horseshoe means something, a problem or something dysfunctional. So Saturn and Jupiter are your two social planets. When you see Saturn retrograde, it's a tough taskmaster. So that's why I'm saying in your family setting, there was some type of tough taskmaster. Saturn retrograde can make you work harder or take longer to think things through. So when you see Saturn retrograde, there can be no shortcuts and you can't rush. And that's why you heard me earlier saying patience. Take time to breathe and do things right the first time. Now, Saturn retrograde means it's probably some type of issue with authority. Now, remember, whenever you see, this is the funny part, because whenever you see Cancer, that's usually the feminine or the mother, the nurturer. Saturn or Capricorn can be the father. But ironically, she has Saturn retrograde in Cancer in the 10th house, which is ruled by Capricorn. So that's a little tricky. But her chart is tricky anyway, because they keep playing switching. Like they put the sun where the moon normally is, and puts the moon where the sun normally is. So they're doing a lot of with her chart. The makers of her chart, whoever did it, they're doing that for a reason. But that's what they said they was gonna do, because Pluto takes the two and gets them to understand each other, and then makes them cooperate more. Because you can see it on throughout her chart. So this person may have had issues with authority, or may have them now, or had them in a past life. And they also did, but they do mention legal matters, just like I told you. Working on legal matters, such as contracts or deals, may be delayed. Deadlines may be extended. And you may find yourself working on something you thought was already complete. So you want to remember that. With a Saturn retrograde, you may find yourself working on something you thought was already complete. And because I've lived a long time, I can tell you it's been many times. Because I got Saturn retrograde in my chart. It's been many times when I know for a fact I did something and it was complete. But then when I went back, for some reason it wasn't complete. So make sure you realize what I just said. You may have already known that in your life. You may have already witnessed it. So now what does Saturn retrograde mean for your past life? So you may have always been in conflict with authority. Because remember, your 10th house is your authority house. That could be any authority. Legal authorities, religious authorities. So you may feel persecuted by your boss or upper management. And because Cancer is there, it really could have been like some parent or somebody in a parent position. But they're saying Saturn retrograde usually means some form of abuse. Either you were abused or you're abusing others with Saturn retrograde. Also, Saturn direct means limitations are being set, things are being regulated. But Saturn retrograde means you have a trouble setting limits. So you may have a difficulty setting limits for yourself or telling other people, no, you can't do that. You may also have had a problem with voicing your opinions to those in authority. And because you don't speak up for yourself, you become even more victimized. And also they say with Saturn retrograde, you have to learn patience. This is all what we call a karmic. You can call it karmic debt if you want to, or I would say karmic assignment or karmic responsibility in this life. So from a past life experience, you may have experienced abusive situations. Now you may have been the victim, but you may have been the abuser. You may have also been a prisoner, enslaved, or you may once have been an abusive ruler. And see, when you see Saturn retrograde in the 10th house, it's definitely some abusive ruler. We don't know who, but somebody in an authority position, some form of abuse. So because you look for an easy way out with Saturn retrograde, you may actually start to bully other people. Like you get other people to do things you should do yourself. So now, so your karmic assignment or karmic debt would be you have to learn patience, you have to learn to be accountable, and also to make sure other people are accountable. You also have to learn to constructively voice your concerns and speak up for yourself so that you won't feel victimized and other people will respect that, especially for anybody in a relationship. Because I mean, it's just how we do things on planet Earth. But if you're in a relationship with somebody, it would just make more sense if things are not going the way you expected to speak up. Because it doesn't really pay off to say, okay, well, I'm just going to withdraw and start to flirt with this person at work or flirt with somebody else. It's like, okay, then why are you trying to be in a relationship with somebody? I know it's complicated, but some of these questions sometimes we just need to ask ourselves. Because you're only going to make it more. You're saying it's complicated. You're only going to make it more complicated. You also have to learn how to, handle your own responsibilities and don't try to get somebody else to handle your responsibilities. Never abuse authority. All right. 10th house ruled by Aquarius, and this is Leo. So Leo is the leader. Remember, Leo rules the 5th house, so it's all Leo, fun, bold, a leader, uh, can be childlike and having fun. But again, the 11th house is going to be friends, association, and groups. But with Leo, that means you're somewhat of a leader in those areas. And you might actually be a leader in taking your friend association and groups to fun situations or fun events. Now, your 12th house is the house of finality, the house of ending, the house of reckoning, the house of taking anything that's in your subconscious mind and dealing with it, the house of reckoning. The 12th house is also the house of service, but you have to be careful that you don't help people so much because so that means serving others, but you don't want to serve people so much that you martyr yourself, that you actually let people burn you out and things like that. But again, your 6th house is a lot like your 12th house, and it's going to all be about service. And ironically, when Jupiter is in your 12th house, that's your financial guardian angel, which means you'll always have finances, especially if you're helping others. You'll always have finances when Jupiter's in your 12th house. Now Jupiter is kind of in your 12th house because your 12th house is ruled by Pisces and Jupiter is in Pisces, and then your 6th house is opposed in your 12th house. But they kind of that opposition. Sometimes they work together. In your case, they do. So you may have that Jupiter blessing because of it. So you got an inspirational 6th house because of the You have an inspirational 12th house because Venus is in the 6th, and then the 6th is ruled by Virgo, and Virgo's in the 12th. And it could also, the 12th house can also be about buildings and, you know, subconscious stuff or hidden stuff. But again, you want to reckon with it. You want to bring it out. You want to be honest about it so you can get healing with it. And again, it's going because it's Virgo. It's going to be about hospitals. You might have a connection in healthcare. You might be treated well by the healthcare industry or those in it. And remember, a lot of times the family is the 4th house, but a lot of times the family is connected to the 6th house, which is the home. Because all this stuff is really going to be things you have to deal with in your 12th house and reckon with. And when you really understand your natal chart, you really want to get to a point in your life when you can go around your chart and you can actually feel like you actually dealt with anything that was hidden or anything that should have needed to be dealt with on your natal chart. And then that's how you know you are meeting the purpose of your natal chart. Because the purpose of your natal chart is not just to find out about love and just to find out about career or money or where's my twin. You got to find out, but I just showed you these things. Why am I here? Do I have any karmic assignments I need to meet? What about this person I'm supposed to be in a relationship with? And then that's how you get a better idea. You become more connected with the universe. So, all right, so I went around the entire chart and I explained everything. So, this person should have this. Now, I'll try to read the letter she sent me, the email, but I just have to be careful because I just have a lot of people's orders. And even in my own life, I try to get their orders out first before I start doing other stuff. Because I appreciate that they asked me to do it. So, I try to make sure I show appreciation. So, I try to move as fast as I can as far as getting it done, but not fast going through the information, but just making sure it gets complete in a timely fashion. All right, we do got a lot of sales going on. The new services and lists and price list is up. A lot of people are buying a newsletter. Remember, I have a channel that's members only, so you got to remember you got to be a member for that. But what I do is, if you join the channel, then you get the newsletter because I do a newsletter, 12 issues a year. People either get the newsletter or they just join the channel. And plus, if they just join the channel, they're already going to save on a newsletter because they don't have to pay for it. It'll come with the channel, with the new location. So that's up to you. If not, you either do both. Do one, you can do the channel and you'll get the newsletter, or you can just do the newsletter, but then you wouldn't be on the channel or the new location because that's members only. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. All right, I'm trying to see if there's anything. So again, it's new service list is out, and I got a lot of sales. Again, you can go right to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. You can see the sales. And remember, we do karmic stuff too. I don't know if I included it in that video, but a lot of people ask about karmic relationship, karmic debts, and all that. We do that too. But you can always just request a new service list. There's a new one. I just made it today, so you definitely know if you didn't get a new one today, that means there's a new one out now. So and also it's a 20% sale going on. And plus, we got all these full moons coming up at 0 degrees. So you want to know about that. New moon next month and the full moon 0 degrees. And it's going to be November's full moon was on the day JFK got killed or near the day. And the full moon next month is still at 0 degree. It's going to be the anniversary of World War I. And the next 2 or 3 full moons are all at 0 degrees. So things are drastically changing. On my other channel, I'm trying to keep up with prophecy, but I've been real busy. But one of the people I know, they sent me a video about Ezekiel's wheel. A lot of you guys, if you don't know Bible prophecy, but I kind of wish you did, because we're at a significant time, and if people are talking about Ezekiel's wheel and all that, that's kind of dangerous. Because even if you were just to read Psalm chapter 83, everything ends with the wheel. You got to remember that, and a lot of people know that. A lot of people that know esoteric knowledge knows everything ends with the wheel. And then I have a video. You can find it. It says Ezekiel's wheel seen me near Orion, because that guy really explained it. See, that way you know it's not me. But that's why the person contacted me, because they were like, this sounds like the kind of stuff Gary was talking about. And then I checked out that video. I was like, yep, it's exactly what I'm trying to tell you guys. All right. Ezekiel's wheel seen. Well, I'm said Ezekiel's wheel Orion to see what happens. All right. Give me 1 minute. I want to make sure I got the right channel. Give me 1 second. All right, his channel is called Naughty Beaver. The title of the video is Naughty Beaver Investigates the Ezekiel's Wheel Sighting in Space. But he did a really, really good job. Y'all really should check that out, because he's telling you stuff that our ancestors knew, and how the same thing Nonania says. Like, a lot of y'all are not into stuff like that, but you should be. It might be detrimental if you're not. So I pointed you in the right direction, but I have a whole channel dedicated to that. And when I can get lately, I just been really, really busy, and it's one of those things. Because I was really going at it for a while, then it just, I think people just tend to think this is a joke when it's not. And I'm figuring I don't joke about stuff like that. I'll put it that way. So I'm gonna try to get back into it, but we'll see. But either way, I'm dropping things. And if you're on my email list, I hit a lot of people off. But the email list is usually for people that have supported. They get back, because it's kind of unfair that I'm killing myself, and then a lot of people don't get back. So that the email is usually for people that have given back, and I try to keep them updated. But I try to go to the other channel, and keep them updated as well when I can. I just don't, I can't be everywhere. I'm just one person. So that's it. God bless.